Hey everyone, thanks for checking out another episode of Wonderful Garbage. I am Angela, that's Julia. Hey Julia,
Hi,
how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, all thawed from our Austin snowy winter mix we had.
Yes, but have you seen the what the temps are gonna drop to tonight?
No,
Back into the 20s.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
not e- it's gonna be like in the 28 or 9 at like 8 a.m.
Oh, absolutely not. I will be wearing a full-on blanket walking into work
I
tomorrow.
know. I love it.
Well, damn. Yeah, we've had some crazy weather. But yeah, hope everyone's doing good, having a good week. We are here to talk about mostly Bravo stuff. I think everything in today's episode, like all the Bravo news and recaps, yeah, we're just keeping it very Bravo focused in all things Bravo episode.
Yeah.
So much is going on. Let's get started. Ali Luber from Vanderpump Rules posted on her Instagram yesterday that her and James have split.
We're very happy about this.
Yes, we are happy. They were together for a couple of years. You know, there was an incident at the end of last year. And yeah, we are happy she is out of that situation and is
Yeah.
healthy. Um,
I think we all kind of like assumed because after the incident, we saw pictures of her moving some things out.
mhm.
And so the day she put out a statement, there were more pictures of her moving things out. And yeah, she made a statement. She said, "Thank you all for your support and kindness. I am happy that prosecutors decided not to file against James, as I never desired criminal charges. We had an argument outside of his home related to him drinking again. However, I was not physically hurt. We are no longer together, but I'll always support James and wish him the best with his sobriety and healing. Thank you for your understanding." So, do we believe that there was no physical? Because, like, didn't neighbors report that they saw him put her to the ground?
Or it was on the police report
Right.
that the woman said she was. The neighbors heard yelling,
Okay.
and then I think the police report said the woman said she was thrown to the ground or ended up on the ground in the incident. I
Interesting.
don't know.
I also find it it's interesting as I'm reading back that she says outside of his home, like that was their home together. And so that kind of just shows you a little more into the dynamic of their relationship. Not
Yeah,
healthy. We're not surprised.
no. I saw he posted on a Instagram story maybe earlier this month or the end of last month. He had his sobriety chips and everything. So go do that. That's probably the best thing.
Yeah, he
You
needs
know.
for sure.
Yeah, so we are so happy for Ali.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's kind of a blessing that Vanderpump Rules is getting rebooted because, like, we wouldn't want to see this played out on the show, or we wouldn't want, like, we don't want any of that's like, it's too personal, it's too sad, it's too dark. We don't want it. So I think it's good that they can have a clean slate. Like, she can have a clean slate, go and live her life and not have to be tied to him in any sort of way with the show.
I agree, and that's a good point. Yeah, the show would probably want to bring her in too, and so keep that type of connection. And then also, I feel like it would just give James like room to lie and worm his way around whatever he wants to.
Yeah, like we don't need to see James sympathy scenes about this. Like we don't want that. Go away and take care of yourself and don't hurt anybody else ever again.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to happy news. Okay. Real Housewives of Potomac Nneka. So she was only on Potomac for one season. But she's pregnant with her first child. This is their third round of IVF. And if you watched, I think it was season 8 of Potomac, that was a big storyline for Nneka, like a big thing in her life. They had tried to get pregnant multiple times and were never successful. Um, she said though, like she was pregnant with twins on this third round of IVF, but when they went to an appointment, she learned that she lost one of the twins
Aw.
early. So she was like, it's just so hard because I'm left, like I have these feelings of like just sadness, but also joy at the same time that I am pregnant and like trying to navigate it. Um, she said there's trauma within the celebration, but at the same time, like we've been going through this for so long. God has finally blessed us with this pregnancy, so just trying to really be optimistic. She also did 2 rounds of IUI before. So she's done so much. So to see that she announced that she was pregnant was really excited. She said they even considered surrogacy, but we're like, let's just try IVF one more time.
Nice.
Like, low expectations. We're just going to go with the flow. And then it happened to work for her. So I think that was really cool. Um, but she's more than halfway through the pregnancy, so we're excited for Nneka and her husband because that was definitely, really difficult for her to go through that.
Yeah. Good news.
Yes. Okay, now this was really funny. Have you watched any of the sold on SLCs at all?
No.
I save them to watch like my late night on a Friday night when I just want to scroll and kind of like have something on in the background.
Yeah.
I'll watch. But I saw Brittany from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City just signed with that real estate group, Presidio,
Uh-huh.
that's featured on the show. So congratulations, Brittany. But then I was like, what if Brittany gets on 2 Bravo shows?
That'd be wild. And
Wouldn't that be funny? Like she comes in, she wasn't really a fan favorite this season on Salt Lake City. She gets a job with this other show. Like, it would just be so funny if she was like, suckers, I'm on 2 shows now.
yeah, we'll see.
Also, did we know that Brittany was a real estate agent?
I don't know. That was one of my first thoughts too. Um,
I
but
don't remember, like, what she said she did for her job. Couldn't tell you.
yeah. So who knows?
Like, I guess, but yay. I saw someone commented, like, ooh, she's trying to get closer to Osmond Lane. Like,
Oh,
and she can't live on it. She's gonna go try to sell some houses down it.
I think that's our Crappen's daddy said that.
Did they?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
That's so funny. Oh, I'm so excited for the Golden Crappies coming up.
I know. We need to make plans for that.
Okay, if you guys like, go listen to Watch What Crappens if you don't, because they're freaking amazing and like the best Bravo podcast recap show ever. Julia grew up with Ronnie, and like we love them so much. And they do these awards called the Golden Crappies where they give awards up for like Bravo things that happen throughout the year, and it's always really fun. And they have guests that come in, like wasn't Ariana a guest one year?
Yeah, I can't wait to see who will be on this year because they've said they're like this is our biggest yet. So, I'm excited.
And the fact that they're doing it in New York
Yeah.
too, like that's gonna be huge. I hope Paige and Hannah are there.
Oh my god, that would be so exciting.
Wouldn't it be cool?
That would be very cool.
The Summer House is about to premiere,
Yeah.
so it would line up perfectly with like the Summer House premiere schedule.
I like your
Um, Maybe like Countess Luann, some old RHONY Dorinda. Oh my goodness.
they love those ladies for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go watch the Golden Crappies. I think it's February 1st. I think it's that first Saturday in February, if I remember correctly. But
Yeah.
anywho, listen to ours and theirs, but they're really, really funny. Every time I like listen to shows now, like when I was watching the Salt Lake City reunion, I just hear their voices when all the ladies talk. Like
Yeah.
when Meredith says Alibaba, I think about them saying Alibaba. When Whitney pronounces anything, I think about them. Like I could not get Ben and Ronnie out of my head.
Every single time I hear anyone say at the end of the day, my brain goes, "You get nothing for nothing," because Ronnie and Ben, they do that every time anyone says at the end of the day, one of them sounds off. You get nothing for nothing. And so my brain does the same thing every single time.
Literally, they are like implanted in me. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Okay. Another Salt Lake City lady, Mary, she was featured in Vulture, and this interview was like lengthy. Like it was in depth. Like she got a really good spread in Vulture. But there's a couple things I want to talk about because she just like really, really opened herself up this year. Just a totally different Mary than we've seen in the past. And I've said it on here before. I hadn't really been a fan of Mary because of how she talks about people and treats them and like would comment on people's weight and things like that. Like I'm not cool with that. But like this season, she was just so vulnerable. So they asked her like, we saw a totally new you. Like what happened? She says she wasn't really ready for it last year. Like she wasn't in it as much mentally or physically. And so that's why she was just kind of a friend of, you saw her here and there. She said, but after everything that happened with Monica, she really wanted to give it her all. She felt like the viewers were owed that because they had such a rough season with the ending of Monica and Reality Von Teese and really just felt the need to be vulnerable so she could connect with the audience. And that made her just enjoy filming more because she was just herself the whole time.
I love that.
Right? Like, cause yeah. And they talked about like how that changed with the women because she was never really close to anybody on the show. She wasn't close like Lisa and Meredith or Whitney and Heather had been at times. And she was saying she thought the ladies really didn't get to know her before, but once they saw her build a friendship with Angie, they were kind of surprised, like, oh, Mary can like really have a friendship. She's not like standoffish. She doesn't have her walls up. And then like especially what we learned about her more this year and in the finale, saying like her abandonment issues and it's hard to trust people. It totally makes sense why she was so standoffish in the beginning until she like really found someone to connect with.
Yeah.
She said, "I just think, oh, I just think that they didn't know how cool I was."
I love that. And thinking back, like, yeah, maybe she acted the way she did in the past because she was probably nervous and scared um and with those abandonment issues, she kind of tends to push people away. And so
Mm,
that's probably just what she was doing, you know. She didn't know these ladies. She was on camera for her first time with people she barely knew, and doesn't give you the right to say someone looks like they're inbred, but
that part, right? Also, it's just like easier to have your walls up and kind of fight and be closed off versus being vulnerable and like trying to build a friendship because you don't know how it's gonna go. So yeah, it's easier to just act like whatever.
yeah. Plus, you know, she's going into it. She's like, okay, I'm a housewife. I have to like bring the drama and, you know, bring the spice. And so she was probably kind of like trying too hard, but also not trying. But I love this new Mary so much.
Absolutely. They ask her about her son. That was a big part of the article. She said everyone reached out to her after that episode aired except Lisa.
I'm not shocked there.
I
Wow.
was like Lisa. I know I was because at least like put everything aside. That is some
Lisa's a narcissist, dude. Like I said it last time. I don't like using that word. I feel like it's overused, but with her, and she just continues to prove it every single episode more that we get. You know, we just watched the finale today, and we're like, who is she? So yeah, I'm not surprised.
this reunion. That part, the first part that came out was hard. Like, I kept writing next to, like, when Lisa would do something, be like, WTF? Like, I don't know why she's acting like that. We'll get to the reunion later, but, trust us, we're gonna get to it. But Mary said the same thing. She said Lisa enjoys when other people are in pain.
Oh, like I'm just kind of thinking like how we were talking about we're seeing a different Mary, and because like when you said that I was like not the Queen of Sundance, and then it reminded me of like Lisa first season. She is so different than she was first season. Like first season she wasn't as unbearable as she is now. The whole like Queen of Sundance was a lot, and just I mean her personality is a lot, and but she didn't feel like mean then. And
I
now,
feel like Jen Shaw had that role the
yeah,
first couple seasons. Jen came in, she had that energy. I am the main girl. You don't mess with me. I got my Shaw squad, whatever.
yeah.
So I feel like now Lisa's taken on that role.
Dang. Mary first season and Lisa first season, like swap.
Yeah, 100%. She said that Rihanna reached out to her twice.
The Mary.
Once after the episode aired, and then again on Christmas to wish them a Merry Christmas and to say that she loves her and Robert Jr.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I love that so much. She said she wasn't worried about sharing Robert Jr.'s story, felt like it would be worth it if they could at least help one person, and that she cried and bawled watching the episode. It was so hard to watch back. She didn't know how powerful it was going to be because she was, yes, having a conversation in front of cameras, but it was just like her and her son. Like, we're talking through this, and it just surprised her when she saw it and saw like the pain
Yeah.
that he had and that she had. That it was a lot. Says he's doing good though, taking it one day at a time. Oh, I found this absolutely horrible. She said bloggers were reaching out, threatening to put out that Robert Jr. was in rehab.
Wow.
And she was like, go, do it, whatever. And then when the episode came out, she's like, okay, we laid it all out there.
Yeah.
Like, you have nothing to say now that could go against anything. Like, we lived it, we went through it. Like, I was like, damn, like, how disgusting can you be to say, I'm gonna go put your son's rehab stuff out there?
Right. And this was before it had filmed or
Hmm.
aired. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Gross.
Absolutely gross. She said she LOL'd at the bar mitzvah episode, like
Oh,
her getting trying to find the door. She goes, "Look, that was in Park City. I live in Salt Lake. It's like an hour to drive there." She's like, and then to get to the actual place, you have to like go way more in like a I don't know, way more into town or something. So she was like, I was already late. I was stressed getting there. The whole building looks the same on the outside. Like, I couldn't find the freaking door. She was like, I was just like over it. But I mean, that's such a good. I mean, there's so many memes of her just like looking in the window.
yeah, that was a great scene.
It's such a good scene. She said that Bronwyn was a great addition to the show. It got rough with her towards the end, and Bronwyn actually talks about this in the reunion. Um, that she was so focused on wanting Lisa's approval and trying to see what happened with their friendship. And Mary clocked that in the article too. She was like, Bronwyn was so focused on Lisa that it was hard for her at the end to really build friendships more. Um, but she was like, I think she's good. And then she said Brittany is an MESS. She's like, girl is a mess. She said, but she's so good for Bravo and so good for the show. Like, Mary wants her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think I saw something, and who knows? I mean, half the stuff I read on X, I'm like, what is even happening? But I think I saw someone post, everyone has been offered back a contract in their exact same role. So like Brittany's gonna come back, but as a friend of.
Yeah, I think I saw that too.
But it was a really good article. I'm happy for Mary because she's been through a lot.
Mm. Yeah.
All right, since we're on Salt Lake City. Do you want to just talk about the first part of the reunion?
So
So,
I watched it on Peacock, which was uncensored and extended. Um, but I didn't watch the non-extended, so I don't know what was different. So we'll see. But I was kind of surprised, like, to get the husbands already in the first, but it's only two parts, right?
no, I think it's three.
Oh, it's three parts?
I think so. I think RHONY is two.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, three parts and bringing the husbands in first part is like not common. And they ended with that and we saw it getting a little spicy. So, but yeah, so everyone's coming in, everyone looks great. I was really surprised to hear that Brittany and Angie showed up in the same dress.
I
Like,
forgot about that. I remember seeing it on X, like they had just filmed, and I think one of the stylists had posted like OMG, they showed up wearing the same thing, which I found so crazy for Britney to show up in that dress. Also, I need to say, if you listen to our little clip of Salt Lake City reunion looks, I was like, I hate Angie's. I take it all back.
good. I don't know
I
what that
love it. It's gorgeous. I don't know what was happening with me that day. I was salty for some reason. I don't know. I loved Angie's. I think her and Bronwyn tied for best dress for me. Angie's
yeah.
was gorgeous.
And Angie's shoes were stunning. Um
Loved them. Those pearled heels, like, oh,
yeah. I love the pearled heels. I didn't love like the necklace with the pearled heels. I don't think those really match well.
yeah.
We did learn the necklace was Swarovski, which doesn't change anything. It's still fabulous, but it does make a little more sense. I mean, my first thought obviously was that it was rented if it was diamonds, but now thinking back, if it was diamonds and Bronwyn's that she didn't get was 4 million, then I'm sure that one would have been four plus. Um, so Swarovski's makes more sense, but still stunning.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah, I think Angie looked so great. I love Angie walked in. What'd she say? She said from bench warming bitch to first chair.
I love it. Okay, so there were like a couple main feuds or revision to season feuds. We started with Whitney and Lisa, and then kind of Meredith, which like Meredith had a couple parts here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but was pretty quiet for most of it. Like,
Oh my gosh. Okay. Meredith, when she walked out, did she remind you of anyone?
oh my goodness. Who?
She was giving Miss Patricia. Which I feel so bad saying because Miss Pat's like 80, but you have to rewatch it. Just when
Okay.
she like when she emerges walking out, she looks just like Miss Patricia.
I
It,
felt like when she was walking out, her hair had way more poof in the front, and then when they started, it had settled a little bit. Because at first I was like, "Oh my goodness, her hair is like huge up top," but it was like,
probably what it was, the poof, because Miss Pat has that southern the higher the head closer to God,
yes,
so
that shit was teased and volumized. But then, like once they started filming, it settled more. And then I was like, "Oh, okay, that looks like better for her." So yes, I will definitely go back and check it out though. They bring up Whitney and the jewelry, the same stock photo from Alibaba. And Whitney's explanation, like, what did you think of that?
Um, it made sense to me. I mean, I've worked in a boutique before, and like there were definitely items that we would just take the stock photo from the website and put it onto our website, and then there were items that we took pictures of and of ourselves in it and got it on our website. So that part did make sense to me.
That's good to know because I was just like, I don't know. So I'm so happy
Yeah,
that you at least have experience. I was like, is that what you do?
yeah. It definitely, yes, is common to take like stock photos. And Alibaba is like a wholesale provider.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a middleman that she's getting from, but I don't know. It still is. Yes, her reasoning of using the stock photo does make sense. I've done it before, but um, that still doesn't explain how it's literally the same exact picture from Alibaba. But
Right? Like the exact one.
yeah, I thought it was so interesting. She got it tattooed on her. She was like, "I want to get it tattooed from Alibaba."
I was like, oh, that's something to prove that it's not. I don't know. Yeah, it was funny. Okay, but I feel better about her explanation then. Okay, and then they talk about Lisa not being able to find evidence of like her planting the story because they were talking about like Lisa reaching out to that podcaster guy, right?
Mhm. Yeah, well, it was all like, it was so back and forth, and just like Whitney recorded talking to him, and then, but then was trying to say, I can't even keep up with it, that like Meredith said that she talked to him, but I can't remember Lisa's role in it. I don't, yeah, it was all
Yeah, I
like,
would think it was like Lisa had gone to bloggers saying that Whitney's jewelry, that she was the one who said that Whitney's jewelry was from this company and like wasn't the nice jewelry that she said it was. Um and then I even think that podcaster guy was like, "Oh, they clipped videos. Like they clipped my sound to make it seem like I was saying it was Lisa, but it wasn't." But then Lisa, so then she was like, "Yeah, she was like, I talked to other people who have proof about this, but then never said what the proof was. And then Whitney couldn't produce any proof either of it. And Lisa was like, well, I asked Whitney, like, for the IP addresses, for all this stuff. It's like, isn't that what your PI is supposed to be doing?
yeah. And she's like, we can get the local police involved, because she's just too much.
It's like, no, the local police have, like, real things to worry about, sweetie. Not
Yeah.
you and this fake whatever you guys have going on. Angie versus Lisa next. Because they're talking about the Milwaukee trip. Oh, I forgot to talk about that in Mary's article. She said her favorite part, or one of her favorite parts, was filming in Milwaukee because she got to try beer and she never thought she would try it.
Yeah. They told her the champagne of beers. That was funny.
But he was like, you know, champagne? She's like,
Yeah.
I love that wholesome side where you're just like, oh, Mary, it's like literal trash beer, but I love that you love it.
Yes.
Okay, Angie versus Lisa. Angie was just like, she felt like Heather had twisted what she was trying to say about Lisa's parenting because Lisa came at her for being like, oh, Electra needs you, your daughter needs you. Well, I guess you have to get off the phone now, which, like,
That was weird.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, if my daughter is calling me, I don't even have children, I have brothers. If my brothers are calling me, I'm hanging up the phone with you. Like, they're children, and teenagers, they're not calling to shoot shit. A teenager is calling because they need to speak to you. They'll call their friends to chat, you know? Like,
Yeah, which I thought was so rude of Lisa, and then Angie being like, oh, well, like, I hang out with my kid. I don't just have them play video games all the time, right? So then that's what was twisted of calling Lisa a bad mother, which she didn't call Lisa a bad mother, but she definitely insinuated that she spends more time with her child versus Lisa and her child because he plays video games a bunch. Like, I see both sides. I'm definitely on Angie's side, but I can see how Lisa was like, well, what the hell? Like, why are you saying, like, he's always playing video games?
yeah.
But also, he's like a preteen boy, and that's what they do. Angie said she thought Heather went and took that to Lisa because she wanted to build a friendship with Lisa. And how do you build a friendship with Lisa? But to talk some shit about somebody else that she doesn't care for,
Exactly.
you know? Like, how do you get on her side? And then Lisa, like, she kept trying to insert herself and be like, well, I gave you a pass. Well, we're good. Well, I even filmed with you. I'm trying to help you out. I was just like, oh,
It
what's
would not,
happening?
it was like, back and forth. I've told you, most of my friends like love reunions. I kind of can't stand them because of this reason right here. Everyone talks at the same time over each other, and it's always yelling. It's always just so intense, like the entire time. And we have this moment, and we're 12 minutes in, and they started the reunion with Andy even like made a comment. He was like, okay, y'all are difficult to get you to be quiet, y'all talk over each other a lot, so we're gonna come up with safe words. So of course Lisa was like Bezos, and Angie said Opa, which I thought was cute. Bezos is dumb. Like, you only did Bezos because you had a Bezos party, which, what does Bezos even have to do with you other than being a Spanish word to go with your Vida tequila?
I'm surprised she didn't make the safe word Vita.
See, that would make more sense.
Right? I guess because it was the Bezos themed reunion set.
Oh.
But
Okay.
I mean, I'm so surprised she didn't take that opportunity to market one of her businesses.
Well. So yeah, they're going back and forth, and freaking Andy is already like, Bezos, Opa, shut up! Oh my god. Oh,
uh
on about. That's the thing too. When they get like that, it's like, this is pointless. No one's making any sense. You're just running your damn mouth.
Especially with Lisa, because even I don't know if you noticed her, but you probably are aware, she'll be asked a question and she will go on a tangent and maybe eventually answer it, but more often than not, push something on somebody else to deflect from the real question.
Yeah.
And then it turns into like, what are we even arguing about? Lisa was mad that Angie called her a bad mom, took it to Heather, and blah, blah, blah. Then Bronwyn found out about it, and Bronwyn went and told Angie, like, hey, just a heads up, Lisa is mad at you. So now the Angie and Lisa thing turns into Bronwyn and Lisa because she's annoyed that Bronwyn went and told her that she was repeating a story, is what Lisa was saying. And was adamant that she told Bronwyn not to say anything about how she felt. And Bronwyn's like, everybody in this group repeats stories. Like, Angie had told Heather something, Heather went and told you. You guys do it all the time. Like, she's like, I only wanted just Angie to be aware that you were going to come to her because you were hurt. Like, Bronwyn, you were also trying to be a little messy. Like, Bronwyn's like, oh, she's hurt, by the way. Just in case if, like, she comes at you, you know why, you know?
Just Lisa being just so ugh. She like starts clapping and being like, "Oh yay, now you want to pipe up." And so Bronwyn is like, "You want to go? Let's go." And Lisa's like, "Oh, no. No, I don't." Lisa really drove me crazy this reunion. I mean, she always does, but she was just, she needs to learn when to shut up.
Yeah, this reunion, like, so far, it's been rough for her. Andy's like, okay, how are you guys now, Angie and Lisa? They're like, we were good when we shot that aquarium scene, then bad at the finale, and it's gotten worse since then. They've been going back and forth on Twitter with each other. I have to read these because it's just wild. You can't write this shit. Angie had responded to a tweet that Lisa said. Lisa said, remember how you charged Jen for a party that you offered to throw? I'm surprised you could I'm surprised you could get all of this out there without tripping over all of that lip filler. Pay your employees that $9 an hour. Oh, pay your employees that $9 an hour just isn't cutting it. And then hearts at the end. And then Angie responded, my lips are as full as my life. Which should honestly be her tagline next season.
That's a good one.
She said, thanks to my doctor who I pay with my own Amex card, not a Park City mystery man's. Unlike Lisa's G-Wagon, my lips can't get repoed. Which would
Gosh.
also be a good tagline.
Yes.
She said, I'm not your bestie in prison, so I'm not interested in a gangbang, but it's cute you two had to team up. Night. And then she uses the hashtag Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Which using tag like I mean, hashtags are used to get that out to the masses, so she wasn't messing around with that one.
No, she wasn't. So it turns out the G-Wagon comment about it being repoed came from a friend who turned out to be Bronwyn. And she was like,
Oh,
I heard it at dinner with a friend. And they're like, huh? And Bronwyn was like, yeah, I'm that friend.
oh my
But
goodness.
Bronwyn had gotten the snarky text message about it and was mad at Lisa at that time, so went and told Angie, and then Angie used it. I freaking love it.
See, I'm sitting here acting like I didn't even know that because I really did not hear that. That's how, like, reunions I need to watch multiple times, but I don't care that much to watch it. But there's literally so much going on,
Yeah,
and everyone's speaking at the same time. I can't keep up with it.
literally. So all of that came from Meredith had said in an interview that because they Meredith was asked about the scroll moment
Mm.
on the premiere, which I forgot about. Like, so much has happened, I literally forgot about that wonderful moment. And Meredith was like, well, I liked her better when she was a backup dancer for Jen Shaw. It's like, oh my goodness. And then did you see that video?
Yeah, it's going around everywhere right now.
It's cringy.
It is.
I was like, Meredith, be grateful that Angie included you in that iconic scroll moment.
Right.
Like, be happy. 'Cause otherwise, like in the beginning, you really didn't have much going on. Also, like, I just want them to stop bringing up Jen Shaw. I don't want her on the show. I don't want her to come back. I think her sentence got reduced again, which is wild. Like, please don't bring her back on. Like, it's not needed.
I don't think
Um,
I hope not. Ooh.
yeah. And then Meredith's reaction going after Angie about being a backup dancer, like she was yelling at her, like, you were a backup dancer in Jen Shaw's video. She kept yelling, like she was heated.
It was so weird, but Angie also was like, I was not a backup dancer, and I have been solo since I was 6. And Andy was like, so this is all just because she called you a backup dancer? And she's like, yeah, I'm not a backup dancer, Andy. It was just, it, that was a
It was
bit much.
dumb.
Yeah.
It was so dumb, but here we are talking about it. We got another Angie tweet. Greeks are known to be great dancers. That's how I danced my way to center stage. Oopa, opa.
Funny.
I'll be adding this to my scroll. And then she did another Real Housewives of Salt Lake City hashtag. Make sure everybody saw it. This was towards like the end, but I'll talk about it now. Mary's observation of Heather. Because Andy decides to read this question to Heather that I feel like he could have read anything else, but it was like, I feel like Heather's giving mean girl energy now. Is it because of her weight loss? And Andy's like, well, how do you feel about that, Heather? I'm like, why are we putting this like negative thing about her losing weight? And she chose to get healthy in her own way. Like, I didn't like that Andy asked that, but Heather was like, look, I've like had to fight a lot more when I was heavier. Like I had so much anger and so much rage. She's like that now I think I'm like lighter. She goes, but I'm also more confident that like I'm not gonna take your crap. And Mary, like I loved what Mary said about Heather. She was like, I just think she really likes herself more now. She's pouring more love into herself. Like she seemed really unhappy 5 years ago when we started the show. Like she was trying to get herself out of a dark place. She was going through emotions of like being excommunicated and like not being with their family and then the divorce, which I think had happened before, but like she was still like reeling from stuff. And so I really liked how Mary was like, screw you guys. Like she was going through a lot and she's like, great now.
It is interesting too, though, because like the text message scene, like Mary had written how she did say that Heather had changed from after the weight loss,
Mm-hmm.
um, and in a negative way.
Yeah.
But now Mary's backing her.
Yeah. I think that was nice. Okay, so Andy asks about the $4 million necklace, and I'm glad he did because I did kind of wonder, like, did she ever get that necklace from the couples trip? Because that's a lot to like have somebody drive out there. It was like a 2 or 3 hour drive to show
Mhm.
some necklaces or to show a necklace and earrings, and then you don't get them there in that moment. I think Bronwyn was a little much for doing that on the show.
Yeah, that was all for show.
100%. But she says that she didn't get the necklace. She got hoop earrings and a smaller version of that necklace, and that she got a lot of questions from people about it online because they also thought it was kind of sus.
Yeah. But
Um,
of all, like, she didn't really, like, I don't know. I still felt like it was sus. Like, her reaction and, um, yeah, and then Lisa totally called her out, and that was, interesting. Lisa tried saying that the jeweler texted her and felt, well, she didn't even say what actually was said. Lisa was going on and on. And then Lisa ended up giving her phone to Andy to read. And Andy was like, oh, yeah, this doesn't look great. And she says that she feels burned by you, Bronwyn. Um,
But how weird that Lisa gets a text from the jeweler. Lisa was like, "We're friends, like we know each other, but we haven't talked in 2 years." And then all the ladies, like all that other side of the couch, because Heather and Meredith stayed quiet about it, but the whole other side of the couch was like, "Why is this jeweler reaching out to you, especially if you guys haven't spoken in 2 years?" So yeah, Bronwyn was pissed. She was like, "Okay, cool. I'll just make sure to wear all the jewelry next time or like go home and take a picture of it so you're good with it." So, woo, get her, Bronwyn. But also, Bronwyn was acting weird, but I'm still not on Lisa's side.
no.
Okay, then they did like a little intro about Bronwyn, like showed some clips from her. And she talks about like she came into the show, so like they showed her clips, how she was, then they asked her like about her experience or whatever. She says she like, was brought in as Lisa's friend, but then as the show progressed, didn't really feel that friendship. And then felt like she needed to chase her to regain that friendship, which I think that's why she was so freaked out when they were in Puerto Vallarta and she didn't get in the same villa as her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was kind of like, "Oh, shoot, like our friendship isn't good if you don't even want to room with me."
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of like spiraled and was like, "I don't know." But realized that she was more of a social friend with Lisa versus like an actual friend. And Lisa agreed. She was like, "Yeah, I know her, but we don't share secrets and stuff." Which then I was like, later when they're talking about Gwen, like Bronwyn's daughter and stuff, and the fact that Lisa had said about the miscarriage on the after show, it's like, if you guys are social friends and you're not even that great of friends, and then you go and put that out there on an after show, like that's horrible.
Yeah. Did you in the what was aired on Bravo version, did you see when they went to lunch?
No.
Okay. I didn't think you did because I was reading through your notes and there were a couple things said during lunch and I was like, man, I can't believe she didn't write this down. So
Oh
then
my
I was
goodness,
thinking,
tell me. I totally forgot that there was a Peacock version. Next time I just need to watch that.
okay, so with Bronwyn and Lisa's friendship, so we have Bronwyn and Todd are in the room together. And Todd was like, y'all really weren't friends. You were more just social acquaintances. And Bronwyn says, I was a social climb. She wanted to come to our jazz suite and a party of mine. He said, of course, because she can come to our jazz suite and not have to do anything for it, so to speak.
Dang! Wow. So like Lisa was chasing Bronwyn's friendship?
Um, Basically, Bronwyn was saying that Lisa was just using her as a social climber, yeah, and because Bronwyn has so much money and a jazz suite.
That's freaking wild. Yeah, I don't know. They talked a little bit more about like Bronwyn coming in and being with the other friends. Heather was like, I just kind of clocked it from the beginning that like I wasn't gonna mesh with her, and then when she came to me to go that couples trip, I was just kind of like, okay, no, like you're trying to beg me to be your friend, like you're coming into our group and then acting like this, like no. And Whitney
Hmm.
said she was a little hurt by Bronwyn not treating her like as a good friend, kind of just like a
Well,
hidden on the side, you know?
yeah, she was like, you won't claim me socially or in public as your friend, which kind of made me feel a little sad for Whitney.
Oh
Like, which
no.
basically was like, you're embarrassed to be my friend.
Yeah. And then Bronwyn was like, yeah, I was so focused on being friends with Lisa. I just had tunnel vision and I wanted to get back to our friendship, which I think is interesting too, because if Bronwyn said that Lisa was using her to social climb, like, why was Bronwyn so pressed about having a friendship with her?
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe Bronwyn just started to feel those feelings at the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Talk about the whole thing with Bronwyn's daughter and the grandparents, which it's just so freaking wild that they never knew this, right? Because Bronwyn never spoke about it, doesn't speak his name, doesn't, nothing. And then Lisa happens to see a picture and was like, oh wow, she looks like this person. And then being like, and then like Lisa ends up knowing the family. So they talk about like Lisa was friends with Gwen's dad's parents, knew of the son, but was really more friends with the parents. And Bronwyn is just, I mean, she's bawling right off the bat. Like, I can't imagine you kept this for so long. You know, you
Mm.
built like a totally different life, and then you join this TV show, and now it's out there and like more than you could ever think, right? She said it was like really hard to hear Lisa defend his family. And then we get a clip of Lisa on the after show. This is what Bronwyn and Todd are really, really upset with Lisa about. Lisa was on the after show with Brittany and was like, yeah, her grandparents said that they were open to meeting her, but we're told that she had a miscarriage. Which just like I talked about it a little bit earlier, but like, how dare Lisa? Friend, foe, whatever. But like, you don't bring up someone else's a potential miscarriage, anything around miscarriage, any sort of accusation or alleged, right? That's just so bad.
Had already had a conversation about it together,
Yeah.
in which Bronwyn says that she went and asked producers to cut part of it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Lisa went on and said something else all on her own.
Yeah. I guess Lisa said, well, you never told me that you wanted that scene cut out.
Right.
Of that when they talked about the miscarriage at the foot massage place. Lisa was like, I had no idea. She said, and then we filmed the after show before the episode aired. So she didn't know that it was cut out. But still, don't talk about it. Lisa was just like, she kept trying to defend herself instead of just saying, I'm sorry. Like, I'm genuinely sorry for how you feel. Like, I don't want any of my actions to like upset you this way. But now Lisa's crying, saying she's in a lose lose situation. And
She said lose lose like 3 times, and then the first time she said lose lose, the second time she said lose lose lose, and then I'm pretty sure the third time she said lose 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 lose. I was like, okay, calm down. That's another thing. It's always just about Lisa. She can't even focus how this is hurting Bronwyn and a child.
yeah. Yeah, Brown was like, I'm just hurt that Lisa didn't realize the implications of saying that. Like, you don't know what you're gonna start by saying it. And then she was like, well, I feel like you guys and then his family have two different experiences. So I figure like you guys could just like talk it out and probably figure it out. It's like, no, this is like almost 2 decades of pain. I'm not gonna fix it over lunch. Andy's like, where do you go from here? Bronwyn's like, I'm just hurt by that she continues to say that she sees both sides without like really acknowledging my pain. And then this is what really upset me. Lisa's like, I'm so sorry. I effed up on the daily and it
Ugh,
affected you. It's like
so
you're like
gross.
equating this major thing with a daily little white lie or a daily little shit talking. Like it's so much bigger than you just messing up on the daily. Like then Lisa trying to play the victim on it. No, not a fan. And then the episode ends with the husbands.
Andy's like, wait, Mary, where's Robert been? And she's like, well, obviously, he doesn't want to be here, any part of this.
That
So,
made Todd laugh.
yeah.
He's like, I
Todd's
get it,
like,
man.
won't be here next year either.
Yeah. They talk a little bit about Todd and Bronwyn's relationship, and Bronwyn said that it was hard to watch back. They have a stronger relationship now. She's like, I thought we had a good relationship before it started. She's like, but then watching us, it's like, wow. She's like, we've had a lot of talks. We're stronger now. She's like, I need to pull back on my sarcasm and making jokes at the expense of him, like jokes about our marriage and the age gap, because she likes to get to the joke before it happens, so she's in control of it. And Todd's like, he said, well, people who don't even know me have some opinions about me. He was like, but just because you have opinions doesn't make it true. I was like, get him, Todd. But he did recognize that he's very blunt, and the way that he talks to Bronwyn isn't okay. That's just how he talks, but he has to be different when it's with his wife, and so that they are both working on the flaws that they saw when they were filming. But I thought it was a good start of the reunion. All right, should we get into Beverly Hills?
Let's do it.
All right. This episode is basically just them fighting about Kyle's text with PK in like fuzzy robes and slippers.
Yeah, which like when we were seeing previews for it, I thought that they were like at a hotel or a resort. And then they start setting up at Bose's house. And I was like, whoa, that's nice.
Gorgeous. Bose is just, I mean, she's impeccable, and we cannot lose her next year. Bose is doing a Sisterhood Serenity Soiree spa day.
Yeah.
Because she was basically like, Sutton tried this and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to make events actually happen and things go well, so let's do it. I'm gonna give it a shot. Good for you, Bose.
That was fun.
14-course meal, monogrammed fuzzy robes and slippers. She does give Dorit a heads up before the soiree goes on. She FaceTimes with her and was like, look, Garcelle was over at my house. She told me Kyle read the text message. I just want to let you know that there's more to it than just memes and jokes. And Bose is also like, I just don't understand. Like, if she can read it to other people, why isn't she reading it to you? And Dorit's like, yeah. Like, we get a confessional from her. She's like, I don't know how Kyle is coming in today, but I don't give a shit. She said the way that Kyle is going about this, it's like showing the text message to literally everybody else but not me, makes me think that something's not right. Like, she's really trying to hide stuff with me. And, like, she's all about honesty and being in your face about it and telling the truth until it's with her. And Sutton says the same thing at the end of this episode. She's all about it until it's on her, and then she cries and plays victim. Dorit also said that she talked to Erica earlier before talking to Bose. She's telling Bose this. She's like, well, Erica told me there's not a lot in the text and not really much to worry about.
Yeah. Erica was definitely protecting and on Kyle's side, which I can't think of why other than, I mean, Erica kind of does say, like, I've been on the side where everyone's coming at me and no one believes me, and she's trying to do that, like, innocent until proven guilty, and I was a trial lawyer's wife once too, and it's just, we're not in court. Like, these are your friends, just, is your friend being a good friend or is she not? It's that simple, and she is not.
Yeah, I just feel like she's doing it because she feels sorry for Kyle, because Kyle doesn't have anybody else on the show on her side. Like, she never really. It's always been surface level with Garcelle. Like, Kyle and Garcelle don't hang out one on one really ever.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Sutton hang out, but they get into it. Her and Dorit used to maybe be friends, according to Kyle, and aren't. So, like, I think Erica's like, this girl got nobody, so I'm here. I get more screen time if I can talk to you both.
Yeah, I guess.
I put in the notes. Kyle FaceTimes her sister Kathy to lie.
Yeah. It's someone to tell her that she's not in the wrong.
Literally. She was like, Dorit used to be cool with PK and I texting. We had like a brother sister relationship. And now it bothers Dorit. Like, she is just making this so weird. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because they're separated. And Kyle's like, well, I'm just gonna ignore her and like, don't you bring your misery to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're already pretty
But
miserable.
Kathy's just over on vacation living the good life. She's like, I'm done with y'all's drama this season.
She's like, I did my thing. I took you guys on a little weekend getaway. I got you all hats that nobody wore. Screw you guys. I'm out. I loved Jennifer Tilly made me laugh when her and Garcelle and Sutton were on the way to Bose's and they were talking about the memes and then Kyle just like continuing to stand on the fact that it's not a big deal and Tilly just keeps saying me
Mims.
memes.
She's so funny. I like her a lot.
Just like unintentionally funny, like Mary, like someone
Yes.
who just they're not trying, it's just their natural selves. It is Sisterhood Serenity soiree time. Erica, Kyle, and Dorit all get there first. And like Bose told everyone to dress comfy because it's a spa day. And Kyle literally comes in this like long gladiator style. Like it reminded me of like I definitely had a dress like that in 2011.
Yeah.
In 2009. Like I definitely
Cut to the belly button, which like, okay, it did look comfortable. Which kind of at first I was like, it's a loose like dress, and everyone like I have a couple of dresses that are like just throw on comfy dresses, and I feel like every time I wear them, people are like, oh, you're all dressed up, and I'm like, this is just a comfortable dress, you know. But Kyle had like a belt on. That's not comfortable.
she's accessorized.
Yeah, so that's where
When you put that much effort,
of
no,
course.
it's not comfy.
Course she did. But I will say I found it interesting. She was wearing flat sandals. She was wearing Birkenstocks, which like Kyle always wears heels. So I mean, she didn't wear heels. I'll give her that.
Well, good job. Dory just looks at her and goes, oh, this is your comfy?
I know. So already was like coming in full.
And Kyle in her confessional was like, yeah, this is comfy. And I'm not so bored every day that I have to make everything a fashion show.
Which is just like, okay. Dorit actually showed up in like comfortable clothes, you know?
No labels were in sight in this outfit. This is Dorit's comfy.
Yeah, she just has to come at her. But I thought this was hilarious. Bose was like giving a talk about how she wanted to bring all of the girls together so that they can heal. And it shows like, you know, like Kyle kind of raises her eyebrows and Jennifer Tilly just laughs. And yeah, Bose too was like, oh my God, Jennifer.
She's like, this shit again. She's like, can't we just go get massages, have our 14-course meal and drink? She's like, Tilly's probably like, I have no beef with anyone here. Like, just let me chill.
It was just, she was like, heal this group? No.
Okay, so how much, like, do you think that chef was crushing on Garcelle?
Oh, Garcelle got his number 100%.
Yeah. I feel like in one shot that they showed, it was like to the chef, but the camera was right behind Garcelle, and I feel like he was staring right at Garcelle. So he's like, "Hey, ladies, how's it going? You all look beautiful." And they're like, "Thank you." And then Garcelle's like, "But who's more beautiful?"
Of course, Erica, we're single. But did you clock Sutton during this?
She gave a side eye,
Oh,
right?
she looked mad. It was really weird. Like they showed her twice and like she was like, yeah, no, she looked super odd. I don't know what was going on there.
Is it like that Magic Mike thing again, where she pretends to be like a prude of like, oh, "No, I would never,
That's
never have this happen. I'm never around this," and then kind of being like throwing yourselves at the chef type thing,
that's kind of what it was giving, yeah.
right? Which is like, Sutton, stop.
Don't
Like,
include me on this. Like it
yeah,
was weird.
it was weird. So Bose hired this company called the Mandy
Yeah.
Hands. And Garcelle, like, knows some of
That
them.
was hilarious.
Kyle's like, so you're familiar?
Mm-hmm.
And Garcelle's like, yeah, they've massaged me for sure. But so they're all getting massages. It seems very relaxed. Dorit thinks this is a great time to mend things with Garcelle.
Poor Garcelle. She just like lays back. She's ready to relax. And then here comes Dorit. I'm sorry to interrupt your peaceful moment. No, you're not. Get out.
Garcelle even looked right in the camera. She gave an office moment of like, it's just really coming to bother me right now.
Of course.
I also loved how Tilly, I'm gonna call her Tilly, was telling the guys like, oh, enjoy this now, enjoy the quiet because it's gonna pop off in a little bit. And then it did, and then a couple of the guys are talking like, man, she was right, like it got intense.
Yeah.
But Dorit's like, I feel so lost right now that my reaction at the Viper room had nothing to do with you. It all had to do with me, and I just let it out on you. Just, I have so much going on, and like, we haven't had a good relationship. I'm sorry for how I acted in the past, and not like really listening to your feelings about things. And so it actually turned out to be really good. Garcelle was like, I think I could be friends with this Dorit 2.0. And then Bose and Kyle are talking. They're like, it's such a nice time. It's such a beautiful day. Everything's going so well. And then Bose is like, well, I think this is a great time to talk about the text message. Like, why didn't you share it with me? And Kyle's like, well, I'm going to repeat it, like, as best as I can remember it, like, because you keep asking me about it, like, whatever. And she actually includes the part about keeping things that they've talked about a secret, which I 100% thought she was going to leave out. And Sutton, too. Sutton automatically, she comes over and was like, hold on, that's not everything you said. You also said this. And Kyle's like, yeah, I told you that. Like, don't just assume that I'm going to leave it out. But she knows Kyle. Kyle's not going to tell the truth 100%. So I was like, ooh, Sutton. Sutton is on one against Kyle.
Yeah. Well, she's tired of her shit.
Kyle's just like, this is so dumb. Like, I don't understand why you guys keep pressing me to share this text with the group. And Sun's like, we didn't ask you to show it. Like, you chose to do that on your own. We're just saying, why aren't you showing it to Dorit when it involves her ex-husband? Like, that's the main issue.
Mm-hmm.
You turned it into then, I'm not going to show it to her, but fine, I guess I'll show it to you guys. Like, Kyle, you brought that on yourself,
It's just Kyle being Kyle. So messy.
And then Erica, the most investigated person in the group, she said, when we start opening up people's phones, you have to have a warrant for that, okay? And as the person who's been investigated the most here, I don't like that shit. And Buzz is like, why is Erica yelling from all the way over there? What is she saying?
Yeah.
Kyle's now crying. She's playing the victim. She doesn't know why they are all pressing her to share it with Dorit. She says, fine, I'm going to read it to the entire group, which really at this point everyone else has heard it, so she's really just reading it to Dorit in front of everybody. She said, okay, I guess except for Jennifer Tilly, because she wasn't there at the good old Chuck E. Cheese. She's like, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to leave. I think what Boz was doing and being like, share the text with me, was that she wanted Dorit to be like in an earshot of it so Dorit can then be pulled in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
This was all a lot. And Kyle just starts melting down, just totally losing her mind. Like, jeez.
She's like, I'm trying to be in a good place in my life. I'm done with all of this. Like the show. Okay, girl, we can make a montage of all the times you said that. She tells Dorit that she loves her
Mm-hmm.
and her family.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, I got you guys weren't that close. So why are you so pressed about it? Her veins back. It's just like, I don't get it. Like, Kyle was so adamant that she didn't owe Dorit anything, all these things. Then she flipped and did a 180. Now she's the victim. How dare you guys come after me? And then she said, oh my goodness, when she said that the keeping secrets thing was about filming the show, that she would never share anything on camera that they talked about off camera.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that?
I think she was just trying to save her ass.
Yeah.
I feel like she would have explained that, like, the first couple of times that she read the text messages, but
Hmm.
she didn't. And then I think she kind of realized that it sounded bad and she was getting caught. And so and they started to call her out for it, you know? And so,
Yeah.
yeah, she was just trying to save herself with.
Yeah, and then Gertha was like, share it with production. They'd love to laugh. Like, why are you keeping them out of it? But they all clocked her on that. They're like, that was dumb. Also, I could not stand Kyle being like, well, you like have to respond back. Oh, the thing about the laughing emojis, like, you have to respond back to PK's text or he gets mad.
Yeah, what was that? That was so weird.
Girl, no, no, no. Don't you talk about my estranged husband, possibly ex. Like, don't say that.
Yeah.
Oh no, the like calmness that Dorit had,
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her.
I texted you through it and I was like, I see a slight resemblance of this situation in my life. And when I found out that something like this was happening to me, I stayed very calm also. I don't really know why. So, I don't really know why. And so I'm trying to think of like what Dorit might have been feeling in it, but it's probably a lot of like shock,
Yeah.
you know, and just there's already so much else going on. It's kind of
Hmm.
like, okay, another thing, you know, like so I definitely feel for Dorit in this situation.
And the way that Kyle was able to get everybody to follow her out of the house,
Yeah.
because she's storming out, I'm done with this. I can't believe you guys. And like Erica first goes out, and then Dorit goes out, and then everyone else are like, okay, I guess we have to go out too. Like,
Okay.
that's a master manipulation shit right there.
Well, I understood like Dorit wanting to go after her. And then Dorit's trying to go after her. And then Erica was like, she's not going to listen to you, Dorit. And so then Erica wants to come too. No, I think everyone else just came out because they were like, oh no, we're not going to miss out on this. Like and Sutton did not want to go. Sutton was like, why do we have to go out there? I think everyone else was just like, we want to see what's going to happen. And then,
Oh, that's such a good point. I was like, how did they all flip to like check in on Kyle all of a sudden when like
no,
they're all okay, yeah, that makes
like,
more sense. They're like, I want to
yeah.
know.
That felt more of like, let's go listen and see what's happening. And I hated Kyle's like rant to all of them, telling them like, we're so much better than this and shame on all of you. That's what she said. She was like, shame on you all. Like, what? For like,
Didn't she also mention something about their age? Like, us women at this age, we're doing, and it's just like, girl.
yeah. And she was like mad that they were pressuring her to read her text messages. But this is just things that people do when they're deflecting because they know they got caught doing something wrong. So
Yeah.
that's why
And I think that's why
she's out of fucking control because she knows she's in the wrong.
Dorit stayed so calm in this because she was like, I did nothing wrong.
Right.
You are telling on yourself. You are sharing these things out. And I can go to bed at night knowing in this situation, I did nothing
Right.
to warrant it. So, like, it's on you. But her and Dorit end up talking. Kyle's like, well, like, if you guys were in a good place, or like, if you had asked me to cut it off with PK, I would have. Girl, you just do it because, like, that's what you do to a friend.
Right.
And Dorit's like, one of the biggest issues PK and I have is how he speaks to me. And Kyle's like, what? I've never seen that side of
I
PK.
hated this so much.
She was like, I think Dorit is using this moment to paint a bad picture of him because he's not here to defend himself. I've never seen that side of PK, but then again, I've never seen that side of Dorit. I was like, you're trash.
So gross. So horrible.
So gross. Like, how would you want to be friends with her after that? The way that she is reacting, she is saying all this stuff because she knows deep down inside she is in the wrong and she doesn't want to admit it. So she's going to double down until we get to the reunion and she cries and they make up and it all goes away. Dorit's like, yeah, I don't like that you said you would never repeat anything. And she's like, it's never been about your relationship. We've talked about Lisa Vanderpump and the show. And I was like, oh, I bet Lisa's at home like, what?
Like,
keep my name out of your
that's
mouth.
right, you're still talking about me.
Exactly. And Dorit's like, no, I like know that you guys talked about your relationship. And we have a confessional with her. She's like, yeah, Mo and PK would go out to dinner. PK would go back to their house. They would vent to each other about me. Then they probably got in arguments, and he was like, yeah, and Kyle said this, and blah, blah, blah. And she like solidified, or like she justified all my reasons that I had, like the issues that I had with you, because she had similar, like, it was just, it was messy. I didn't like it. Dorit's like, I think Kyle is just so used to lying to me, like she doesn't know how to stop.
We get Kyle in the confessional with all of the Kyle attitude. She really pissed me off. She said, everyone's talking about this now instead of what she did to me. What the fuck did she do to you? Sorry, I'm mad. Kyle said she had to pull something out of her hat, didn't she? Like, what? Kyle, sit down, shut up. And yeah, I think this mess was definitely not as bad as New York, but like, I don't think anyone's going to really want to be her friend and really trust her now after this with any secrets or close information.
Yeah, I think Kyle has just done this for so long, but throughout all the seasons, she always had a ride or die that would back her up and take what she was saying and put it out on the other person. But Kyle doesn't have that now, and Dorit's like actually standing up to her.
Yeah.
And
Eric,
it's showing like
Erica's sort of still being that for her, but we kind of see something clicking in Erica's brain at the end of the episode.
so Kyle leaves, Dorit goes back to the group. She was like, I want to have a conversation with her without having a big blow up. But that requires Kyle to be vulnerable and admit when she's wrong, and she can't do that. Bose was like, yeah, I don't know like what's going on. Erica keeps defending Kyle. They're like, why? Bose was like, look, I'm trying to get to know everybody here, and I'm learning that everyone has issues with the same person. Dorit, it's you.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
Bose was like, hey, or Dorit's like, hey, bitch, don't say that.
Yeah.
I love that. And then Jennifer Tilly was like, it's not a success until somebody leaves crying.
That was funny.
Garcelle and Sutton meet up at Garcelle's beach house. And Sutton just lets it all out on Garcelle. She's like, I don't appreciate Kyle storming out. It's so dumb. She's so inconsiderate. This text message is riling her up more than it should.
I think she's just tired of her shit. And like she says, I'm not going to bow down at the altar of Kyle Richards.
I loved that part.
It's been the Kyle show, and Kyle's been the leader for a long time, many, many seasons. And I think everyone's starting to see like the real Kyle. Well, not even the real. It's like, will the real Kyle please stand up? Because she's so an actress. She's grown up an actress. You could see when she was there in her robe and her glasses and her phone, and I'm gonna read this text message and then I'm gonna leave. Like that was out of a freaking soap opera. Like
literally, like we've seen the show Kyle. We haven't seen the real, right? We've seen what she puts on, the performative, but 100%. And then the episode ends with Erica meeting up with Dorit at the spa. They need another spa time because it was not relaxing.
That was funny.
Dorit's like, look, so they get massages and everything, and then they're talking after, and she's like, I just realized that I don't need a lot of friends. I just need the right friends. And I think that that's you sometimes, Erica. Like, you keep standing up for Kyle, but you might not defend me in the process. And they talk about like what happened at Bose's house and the whole thing about like, I'll never repeat what we talk about. Dorit's adamant that that is about her. And then even like with Dorit telling Erica this, Erica's like, well, I still can see it both ways.
Yeah. But I like in the end, Dorit was like, if if it comes out that she was wrong or whatever she said, like, will you still be on her side? And Erica kind of was like, well, no, I guess not.
Yeah, no, that was good. Still Team Dorit.
Yeah, never Kyle.
I saw something, or somebody commented on social media. Kyle has a producer credit this year.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, if she has, and I don't know, I keep forgetting to watch the end or like to look at like credits to see like if she really does have a producer credit. But someone said it online, so it must be true. If that's the case, like, is she making herself like the villain this season? I don't assume that she would have much input because I don't think they want her like too close to producing.
I'm looking it up real quick.
Oh, did you see Andy Cohen talking about because there was that rumor going around, of course, like someone started about LVP coming back.
I did not see that.
People were putting online like Andy said he would love Lisa Vanderpump to come back to stir up some drama. And Andy was like, no, I love Lisa, but I don't know like where this rumor came from. I don't see her coming back or like how she would fit in with the group. She's not friends with Dorit.
Right.
She's kind of friends with Garcelle, but like she doesn't really know anybody else. Like, how would that even work? But he did say, he was like, I do hear that like Lisa and Kyle bump into each other every so often. And they're a little cheeky with each other. They'll send the other one either the dinner bill or like a drink bill. And I love that.
Okay. So, an alleged Bravo insider recently spoke to OK about Kyle and her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills castmates. The women, quote, the women are truly sick of her always acting like the queen bee and not being completely transparent. They continued, some of them definitely are attempting to take her down this season. However, she's a producer on the show. Due to her role as a producer, the story always tends to go her way, and she typically tends to get what she wants, regardless of that being unfair to any other cast members on the show. Interesting.
Because then it's like, yeah, if you have gotten your way for so many seasons, is she leaning in to being this villainous, horrible person so that they can finally say, oh, Kyle's had a bad season?
I don't know. This is interesting too. It says, this is a quote, Kyle definitely has had her share of stuff in her closet for years, but again, with her being the producer, a lot tends to get buried and swayed. So, like, what have we missed out on?
Ooh, girl, for real, give us all the uncut foot. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness. Bravo should really lean into like untapped footage from seasons ago, right? Like, give us old stuff that we haven't seen that's not relevant anymore.
That just should not be allowed, though. Like,
it shouldn't, because we like to think it's a true reality show, but
fucking Kyle.
And she's like one of Andy's favorites, so how is it? Well, the Real Housewives of New York had probably the most explosive episode ever this week. We chose not to talk about it. We thought about it. We chose not to. It's way too dark. It's way too serious. Yeah. The finale, I mean, the reunion, it's a 2-part reunion. I'm so glad we're not doing 3. We don't need more. It starts next week. I don't know how they come back together as a group and film together next season. I think Brynn will be out. Maybe even Ubah too. I don't know.
I feel like if Ubah's out, it will be Ubah's choice. I don't feel like Brynn would choose to leave. I think we still haven't seen a real comment from Brynn. And yeah, we have been getting, more from it. Brynn did an article, and then Aaron commented about that article, and Aaron was like, I usually choose to keep my mouth shut, but about this I cannot. And yeah, it just sounds it's very dark and icky, and we don't want to touch it, and we just hope that everyone gets the help that they need, for sure.
Yeah, like reality TV is not for everybody, and I think there's a lot you have like there's a lot of inner work that takes
Yeah.
to put yourself out there like this, and it's hard. But yeah, Jenna was on Watch What Happens Live. She said no one's talked with Bryn since filming the reunion. So you'd assume they would pick up filming again. I think Salt Lake City's gonna pick up filming again in like February, late February. So you would think maybe RHONY's springtime starts filming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but we were just like, no, we're not gonna, we're not gonna talk about it. We're not experts in the psychology of things.
No, and we like to talk about like the petty fights and everything, and that was just too deep to.
Yeah, give me pettiness all day long. All right. Anything
No, we just
else?
wish everyone well.
We do. We hope you're well. We hope this got your mind off of things. If you've had a rough week or a rough day or, made you laugh, maybe you fell asleep to it.
We hope not.
Just keep those streams going. Just keep this on repeat. Get those
Yeah,
views.
fall asleep, but with this on replay.
Then fall asleep to our voices and then wake up to them. I think that sounds great. Alrighty, y'all. Well, please follow, like, subscribe, comment on where you listen to this. My brain, I'm done. My brain.
Do all that.
Do all the things, please. Thank y'all so much for checking out another episode. Y'all have a good night. Until next time.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. If you're watching this on video, Julia just did like the peace sign on, and the iPhone did balloons, like a celebration. Awesome. So if you're watching this on video, yes, you're welcome. All right, bye, y'all.